spend the next few minutes here because we have to, because at 10:08, Rob Saleh gets fired. And that's the way it goes here. Breaking news, as soon as the show ends, that's what's going to happen. So I wanted to, before we got Jerry in here and played some of the clips, get our initial thoughts and opinions out there about what happened. So you had said after the Bronco game that things were very, very unsettled. And you actually mentioned how if they lost in London, that somebody might be getting fired because it was there was that much anger in that building, and that's exactly what happened. And I still, and I'm sure you were as well, even with knowing what you knew, we're still stunned that it happened this early. And it just feels to me, even though I did not believe Rob Saleh was a good coach, for years I didn't think he was a good coach. I don't think anybody really did. It just feels to me like this is just now even more of a mess than it was before Rob Saleh was fired. Mm-hmm. Remains to be seen, but it's just this very, very jettying that's going on, and Woody Johnson decided to stick his face right in the middle of this thing, and we're going to see if he was right or not.
Yeah, I was not surprised at all yesterday. You stuck your head in, and you told me, did you hear what just happened? I said, yeah, I just saw it on the scroll, but I was not surprised. I mean, I guess maybe surprised at the timing, thought maybe another couple of weeks to see if Saleh could get this team back on track, especially with a huge Buffalo Bill game here coming up. I mean, they are playing for first place in the AFC East, believe it or not. That's how bad the Patriots and the Dolphins are right now. And Buffalo and the Jets both are mired in two-game losing streaks. So this is it's a weird spot to do it, but I also understand why I think Woody Johnson is trying to do it, because there is tension on the offensive side of the football. And I talked about it after the Bronco game. We talked about it during the Patriot game, and you could see it. And we were talking about body language. We were talking about the way people were not talking to each other on the field. And, some people were like laughing at those takes. All I'm saying is that I am not shocked. I mentioned Jeff Ulbrich as the potential next head coach if they decided to move on from Rob Saleh to try to save the season in this year. And I literally thought Woody would give him one more week to see if he could beat Buffalo at home on a Monday night. But what I don't know behind the scenes, and there are all sorts of reports, whether it be from Connor Hughes, who does a good job of covering the Jets, all the different insiders around the NFL, claiming that Rob Saleh was going to strip the play calling duties away from Nathaniel Hackett and give it to Todd Downing. And the one thing that I do see watching these games and knowing offense and watching how teams do run their offenses, I don't see a lot of creativity on the offensive side of the football. And there are plays that happen in these games, like the interception to Van Ginkel that was returned, the safety blitz against the Broncos on 4th and 10 that got Aaron Rodgers in the back. To me, it's there's people that are not prepared. And Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys. This game has changed significantly over the last 5 to 10 years in the sense that I think what defenses are seeing on offense is a very vanilla offense. Aaron, I think, likes it that way. I think he wants to be able to read the defenses, too high safeties, whether or not teams are blitzing. And I think the Broncos with Van Joseph and Brian Flores of the Minnesota Vikings completely out-game planned the offensive coordinator and coaching staff of the New York Jets in the last two games. And Woody Johnson's like, all right, timeout, wait a minute. I got this great group of players. I feel like this is the best team I've had in 25 years because of who the quarterback is. And we're being held down by these opposing defenses. What is going on here? So I think Rob Saleh probably thought, I got to take the play calling away and the creativity and the preparation away from Nathaniel Hackett, because it looks like my offense isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing, or it's not meeting our expectations. And the only other thing I would think that comes into play with this, I do believe that Woody talked to Aaron, and maybe about a myriad of things, maybe not specifically about firing Coach Saleh, but I think offensive issues, because I think somebody probably said something to Woody about the offensive issues. And you got to remember that Johnsons gave their word to Aaron Rodgers that Nathaniel Hackett was going to be his offensive coordinator. So there's no way that I think that the Johnsons are going to allow Rob Saleh yesterday to cut the legs out from underneath Nathaniel Hackett because of their commitment to Aaron Rodgers, if you understand what I'm saying.
Of course, yeah.
All right, so I'm not surprised by it. I mentioned Jeff Ulbrich as being a guy that they would give a chance as a interim head coach.
Well, I mean, there was a few choices there.
Right,
It wasn't going to be Nate Hackett. It wasn't going to be Todd Downing. It wasn't going to be the special teams coordinator. So it's a process of elimination.
Right. I mean, but so here's the deal. This usually doesn't work. It usually doesn't work, but it's early enough that it just may work, and you're playing a wounded Buffalo team that's coming here Monday night. And you're coming off of your worst offensive performance, especially at the quarterback position. So I could see a bounce-back game on Monday night. But really, there's still going to be tension in that building. And the tension's going to be on the offensive side. And the reason there's going to be tension there is because it's human nature when a coach comes in before he's fired and says he's going to remove somebody from a job, and that's going to be a public kind of flogging, if you will. So I don't know where Todd Downing and Nathaniel Hackett's relationship is right now. Todd Downing's like the outsider to Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, what I guess, I think that Rob Saleh was lost. The unprepared thing is something we talked about for years, beginnings of seasons. He never looked like he had this team ready to go. Coaches would coach circles around him. All that is true, but if all your problems are on the offense, all those issues are still there.
That's exactly right.
So, what is that? And by the way, I actually could give you examples of how it does work. I mean, the Raiders twice in the last 4 years fired a coach before the end of the season, and both those times it ended up working for them when they started playing better. I remember when Dan Campbell, before being the Lions coach, took over for the Dolphins. That ended up working. There's been several examples of it.
Yeah, but what does the interim coach get the team where everybody expects the team to be, and that's to be in the Final Four of the AFC, to make it all the way to the divisional rounds.
Right, well, the difference is, though, that it's more like Week 10, Week 11, Week 12, something like that, where a coach gets fired, and all of a sudden the team starts playing better. This is totally unique because it's Week 5, and you're right, the expectation. So this is uncharted waters. I can't think of a parallel to this.
But I felt like, the last couple of weeks, man, you could see it. You could see it building.
Right. You know what the thing that really is just amazing to me, and this is purely on Woody Johnson, is that if you were so upset with Rob Saleh 5 games into the season, the way the team was playing, to fire him, why the hell did you allow him to start the season as the head coach? You should have known by now that this guy didn't have it. So now in the offseason, you had all these other coaches that could have come in, but instead now you're going to blow him up 5 games into the season and make this situation the way that it is.
Remember, if you fire him in the offseason, you're basically cleaning house and you're getting rid of everybody, and that would not have been, I think, sustainable for Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers would have been like the first guy in line saying, okay, it's time for me to leave. So, Aaron sacrificed a lot to come here. He took less money. Unfortunately, he got hurt. There is a level of respect that he's afforded because of everything that he's accomplished in his career. I don't think that would have been the thing that you would have wanted to do if you were Woody Johnson, especially with him getting hurt last year. So I think he tried to say, okay, let's run it back. Let's see if we can do this right, because now we got the quarterback. And, what he saw the last 2 games, and especially the last game in London, where he was the ambassador to Great Britain. I just think that also fuels a little bit of the fire. The Lebanese flag thing, no. Rob Saleh has worn that Lebanese flag for the last 2 years, and it's something that the NFL allows coaches and players to do, and it's called heritage, reflection, whatever they call it. And, is it bad timing because it was October 6th and the next day was October 7th? In the eyes of the beholder when it comes to that. But I'm just saying, Rob Saleh just didn't show up on Sunday with the Lebanese flag on his sleeve. He's worn that before. That's where his parents are from. And he's talking about the Lebanese people.
Yeah,
and he's proud of who his parents are. I'm not getting involved in the geopolitical aspect of whether or not that flag got him fired.
Let me tell you that the Joe Beningo talking about that clip yesterday was just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. That's another one of those things that, just like Rob Saleh texting with Joe Beningo last year, that you're like, is this real life? When Joe Beningo says during an interview about Rob Saleh being hired, quote, and I'm sure Lebanon is not happy with Hezbollah. I mean, what? What are we doing? I'm going to tell you this, and I don't want to get political, but in this case I have to. Lebanon flag, bro. And, all the missiles are coming out of there. And, and I'll tell you this much. That, I do, but and this is just me, bro. This is just me. But the Lebanese cannot be happy with Hezbollah. Okay? So, I'm like, was this happening? Yeah. On a Zoom call with Jake Asman?
Yes.
What the F?
Yes.
Hezbollah!
Right.
Joe Beningo in talking about Rob Saleh, the Jets head coach getting fired, is referencing Hezbollah. These are the things that are happening in 2024. Look at this Fu Manchu on a Zoom this close to the camera with some kid. Well, I like Jake. Actually, I know him a little
Jake's
bit.
Jake's a good kid, yes.
But and then Jake, you can tell Jake's like, he's a kid who wants to get like views and stuff. So when Joe's saying this, he's just getting closer. You can see him like salivating, like, yeah, keep going. And he got his views out of it. But anyway, all right.
I mean that's the craziness that's going on right now. And again, like I said, I'm not overly surprised. I hate when people lose their jobs. My friends have gone through this over the years. It's not an easy thing for the Saleh family. It's not an easy thing for Rob. I don't take great joy out of any of this. But at the end of the day, I think Woody Johnson said, you know what I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing is I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I got to make a change now. And we're playing for first place, and we got our biggest rival coming to town. We've got to win this game on Monday night. That's what I think.
Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network. Get Jerry in here. First update of the morning.